This video is about she slept on the bench and the heiress gave him a future. If this story inspires you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The city at Eldervale shone like a jewel, glinting under the bright sun. Its parks, filled with blooming flowers and laughing children, painted an idyllic picture. Yet hidden beneath this facade were stories waiting to be told, tales of resilience and the indomitable human spirit. In the heart of Eldervale, nestled between the bustling markets and serene parks, lay a small, unremarkable bench. To most, it was just a place to rest, but for Clara Whitmore it was both refuge and prison. She had been sleeping on that bench for nearly 3 weeks, her belongings stuffed into a warm backpack that clung to her like a shadow. The world around her was vibrant, but her heart felt heavy with despair. Clara had not always been homeless. Once she had a loving home, a modest apartment filled with laughter and warmth. But life, as unpredictable as it was, had dealt her unfair cards. The sudden death of her father from a heart attack had plunged her mother into deep depression. Clara, at only 18, had taken on the role of caretaker, sacrificing her dreams of college to keep the family afloat. But when her mother lost her job, everything spiraled. Bills stacked up, and the inevitable eviction notice arrived. With no savings and nowhere to turn, Clara found herself alone, wandering the streets with nothing but her dreams and memories. One particularly chilly evening, as Clara wrapped her thin scarf around her neck, she noticed a young boy sitting on the sidewalk nearby. He was no older than 6, his small hands clutching a frayed teddy bear, its eyes staring up at her with an uncanny innocence. Clara's heart ached. She approached him cautiously. "Hey there, little guy, are you okay?" she asked gently, hoping to coax a smile. The boy looked up with wide, sad eyes. "I am waiting for my mommy," he whispered, voice trembling. Clara's heart sank. "What is your name?" "Ali," he replied. "And I lost her, she was here earlier." Rather than turning away, Clara knelt beside him, feeling the chill of the concrete seep into her bones. "Billy, I am Clara. How about we find your mommy together?" In that moment, the burdens of her own struggles faded slightly, replaced by the urge to help this innocent child. They walked through the streets, calling out for Elias' mother. Time passed, the sun dipped low, casting long shadows, but hope flickered in Clara's heart. Hours later, after searching nearly every street corner, they found a frantic young woman, her eyes red from worry. When Ellie ran into her arms, Clara felt a strange sense of fulfillment. The woman thanked her profusely, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Thank you for looking after him. I don't know what I would have done without you," she sobbed. Clara smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Just doing what I could," she replied softly. As she made her way back to the bench, she reflected on the warmth of that moment. In helping Ellie, she had momentarily forgotten her own loneliness. Days turned into weeks. Clara continued to sleep on the bench, her routine established. She spent her mornings at the library, using the internet to search for jobs and receiving food from local shelters. Yet every night, the cold seeped into her bones, and uncomfortable thoughts filled her mind. On a particularly gloomy afternoon, she returned to her bench, exhausted. A gust of wind swept through Eldervale, chilling her to the core. She pulled her jacket tightly around her, feeling the weight of the world pressing down. Just then, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "You look like you could use a warm drink." Clara glanced up to see a young woman with golden hair and an elegant appearance. She seemed out of place in this part of town. "Yes, please," Clara replied, surprised at the kindness of a stranger. "I am Amelia," the woman said, extending her hand. "Clara." Amelia's eyes sparkled with something Clara couldn't quite read. "I work at a local charity. We provide resources for those in need. Do you mind if I ask how you ended up here?" Clara hesitated, unsure if she should share her story with someone who seemed so far removed from her world. But there was something disarming about Amelia's sincerity. "I lost my home after my mom, she couldn't cope after my dad died. I am just trying to figure things out," Clara admitted, her voice trembling slightly. Amelia nodded, her expression empathetic. "I can imagine how hard that must be, but I believe in second chances. Would you be open to learning more about what we offer?" Clara felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. "I'd like that." Over the next few weeks, Clara and Amelia developed a bond that transcended their differences. Amelia showed Clara the charity's facilities, where meals were provided, counseling services offered, and job training programs existed. Clara's heart swelled with gratitude, knowing that help was available. One afternoon, Amelia invited Clara to a mentorship program aimed at helping young adults like her. You have so much potential, Clara. You just need a little guidance and support, Amelia encouraged. I don't know if I am ready for that, Clara replied, doubt creeping in. Every journey starts with a single step, Clara. You've already taken so many. Just trust yourself, Amelia urged, her eyes filled with unwavering faith. Buoyed by Amelia's words, Clara took a leap of faith. She enrolled in the program, and with each passing day, she learned more about herself. She discovered strength she didn't know she possessed and began to believe in the possibility of a brighter future. But change wasn't instantaneous. Clara faced setbacks, rejection letters from jobs, nights where hunger gnawed at her stomach, and moments of self-doubt that threatened to swallow her whole. Yet Amelia stood by her side, a beacon of hope in moments of darkness. Remember, Clara, resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, Amelia reminded her one evening after a particularly difficult day. Clara took a deep breath, her heart swelling with gratitude. Thank you for believing in me, she replied, her voice breaking. Amelia simply smiled. It is easy to believe in you, Clara. You have a light within you that the world needs. The weeks turned into months, and Clara began to see the fruits of her labor. She landed a part-time job at a local cafe, and though it was just a start, it felt monumental. For the first time, she had a sense of stability. With each paycheck, she saved diligently, determined to find a small place of her own. The fear of slipping back into homelessness loomed over her, but she learned to face it head-on. Clara's resilience inspired those around her, including Amelia. They spent evenings together, sharing dreams and ambitions. The bond they forged became a testament to the beauty of human connection, illuminating the darkness that threatened to engulf them both. As spring blossomed, the city transformed. Flowers bloomed, and the air filled with the scent of possibility. The world became a canvas for Clara, who painted her new life with each brushstroke of resilience, hope, and kindness. One sunny afternoon, as Clara enjoyed her break in the park, she spotted Ollie, the boy she had once helped. He ran toward her, his teddy bear swinging in his hand. Clara, he called, his face lighting up with joy. Ollie, she exclaimed, her heart swelling. The two embraced, and in that moment, Clara realized that kindness had the power to create ripples of hope. His struggles had equipped her with the strength to uplift others, and she felt blessed to be part of Ollie's world again. As they chatted, laughter filled the air, echoing throughout the park. Clara felt the warmth of the sun on her skin and the promise of new beginnings blooming around her. She was becoming the person she had always dreamed of being, and it was just the beginning. In the heart of Eldervale, a bench had transformed from a place of sorrow to one of connection, a reminder that even in the darkest corners, hope and kindness could light the way forward. Little did Clara know, her journey was only just beginning, and the challenges ahead would forge her into the woman she was destined to become. As the days continued to brighten in Eldervale, Clara found herself unveiling layers of potential she never knew existed. Each morning, she woke up with a renewed sense of purpose, her heart beating with the rhythm of possibility. The cafe job brought her joy, mingling with customers while ensuring each cup of coffee was brewed to perfection. One particular Thursday morning, as she prepared for the day ahead, Clara noticed an elderly woman struggling to find a seat at one of the cafe tables. The woman's frail figure shook slightly as she leaned on her cane, her face a portrait of determination against the odds of age. Clara hurried over, her heart swelling with the instinct to help. "Excuse me, ma'am, can I help you?" Clara asked, her voice warm and inviting. "Oh, dear, that would be lovely. My knees aren't what they used to be," the woman replied, gratitude shining in her tired eyes. Clara gently assisted her to a table and pulled out a chair. "Here you go. Can I get you something to drink?" "A cup of chamomile tea, if it is not too much trouble," the woman said, settling down. "Of course." Clara beamed, her heart lightened by the small act of kindness. As she moved to the counter, she couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come. Serving tea to an elderly lady was a far cry from the despair of sleeping on that unforgiving bench. Through her daily interactions, Clara began to realize the profound impact kindness had on others. She'd share stories with customers, listen to their joys and sorrows, and in return, they offered her encouragement and support. The cafe had become a sanctuary, not only for her but for the community. However, beneath the surface of her burgeoning success, Clara faced challenges. The memories of her past often crept back into her mind, casting shadows on her brighter days. One evening, as she returned to her small rented room an upgrade from the bench but still barely above the poverty line, she felt the weight of loneliness settle heavily upon her. Clara sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the walls adorned with nothing but a few photographs she had salvaged from her past. The laughter of her family echoed in her ears, reminding her of what she had lost. Tears pulled in her eyes as she clutched the bear we had given her, a token of their shared moment all those months ago. It was then that her phone buzzed with a message from Amelia, the light in her life. "Hey Clara, let us grab dinner tomorrow. I want to catch up and hear about you a week." Clara smiled through her tears, wiping them away. "Sounds perfect," she typed back, grateful for the reminder that she was not alone in her journey. The following evening, they met at a cozy diner filled with laughter and the scent of home-cooked meals. Clara felt her heart lift as Amelia arrived, her golden hair catching the light like a halo. "Hey, beautiful, you look amazing," Amelia greeted, her warm embrace enveloping Clara in comfort. "Thanks, it's just a new dress I found at a thrift shop," Clara replied shyly, a new sense of pride in her appearance. As they settled into their booth, Clara recounted the week's triumphs and challenges, her words spilling out like a refreshing stream. "I think I am finally getting the hang of this job. I even managed to impress the manager with my latte art." "I am so proud of you," Amelia said, her eyes sparkling. "But how are you feeling? I know it hasn't been easy." Clara glanced down at her hands, tracing the lines of her palm. "Some days are harder than others. I still struggle with the memories of losing everything." Amelia's expression softened. "It's okay to feel that way. Healing is not linear, and you're redoing remarkably well. You're not defined by your past, Clara. You're redefining your future." Those words lingered in Clara's heart long after their dinner ended. She returned home that night full of hope, remembering that healing was a journey. For once, she felt a flicker of excitement at what tomorrow might bring. Weeks rolled into months, and spring slowly transformed into summer. Clara had become a fixture in the cafe, her laughter mingling with the scent of fresh pastries, her spirit igniting the hearts of those around her. She even began to mentor a new hire, a young woman named Mia, who reminded her of herself, a bit lost but eager to learn. One evening, while Clara was cleaning tables, Ali burst into the cafe, his face alight with joy, accompanied by his mother. "Clara, look what I made," he exclaimed, holding out a small, crumpled piece of paper. Clara knelt down, a smile breaking across her face. "What is it, Ali?" she asked, her heart swelling with affection. "It's a drawing of us. I drew you a superhero because you helped me find my mom," he announced proudly. Tears of joy welled in Clara's eyes as she took the picture, tracing the lines with her fingers. "This is beautiful, Ali. Thank you so much." Ali's mother stepped forward, her eyes gleaming. "Clara, I can express how grateful I am. You've made such a difference in Ali's life. He talks about you all the time." Clara felt the warmth of gratitude wrap around her heart like a cozy blanket. "It was my pleasure. Just doing what I can," she replied, humbled by the kind words. As summer approached, Clara was presented with another opportunity. Amelia had organized a community event to raise awareness for the charity, and she asked Clara to share her story. "You have a voice that can inspire others, Clara. Your journey can be a light for someone else," she urged. Clara's heart raced at the thought of speaking in front of a crowd. "I don't know, Amelia. What if they don't want to hear my story?" "Believe me, they will. You're not just a story of struggle, you're a story of triumph. Show them the resilience that lies within you," Amelia encouraged, her unwavering faith a beacon of hope. That night, Clara lay awake, her mind swelling with doubt and determination. She knew sharing her story would force her to confront her past, but perhaps it would also allow others to feel less alone in their struggles. On the day of the event, Clara stood backstage, her heart pounding in her chest. "You can do this," she whispered to herself, clutching the folded piece of paper that held her speech. When her turn came, Clara stepped into the spotlight, taking a deep breath. The crowd's faces blurred, and she focused on the message she wanted to convey. "Hello everyone," she began, her voice steady, yet tinged with emotion. "My name is Clara, and not long ago, I was homeless, sleeping on a bench in this very city. I felt lost and alone, but through kindness and resilience, I found hope." As she shared her journey, the pain of loss, the struggle to overcome, and the power of human connection, she could see nods of understanding in the audience. Clara spoke with vulnerability, her heart bared for all to see, and with each word, the walls of her past began to crumble. She concluded with her newfound mantra: "Life will throw challenges your way, but remember that every setback is a setup for a comeback. You are not defined by your struggles, but by how you rise above them." The applause that erupted felt like a warm embrace. Clara's heart swelled with gratitude as she stepped off the stage, realizing she had not only shared her story but had also inspired others to believe in their own strength. After the event, people approached her, their eyes filled with gratitude and encouragement. "Thank you for your honesty," one woman said, tears in her eyes. "I needed to hear that. Amelia stood nearby, her face beaming with pride. "You are incredible, Clara. You touched so many lives tonight." The warmth of their support enveloped Clara, igniting a flame of hope within her that burned brighter than ever. She understood now that sharing her struggles was not a sign of weakness but a testament to her resilience. As summer began to wane and the leaves started to turn golden, Clara found herself looking toward the future with anticipation. She had secured a scholarship to attend community college and was on the path to pursue her dream of becoming a social worker to help others find their way back from despair. With Amelia by her side and a Heiress drawing hanging on her wall as a reminder, Clara felt the weight of her past transform into a source of power. She was no longer just Clara the homeless girl, she was Clara the resilient, the hopeful, and the light for others navigating their own darkness. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, she stood by the bench where her journey had begun. It was a place of sorrow once, but now it shimmered with possibility, a testament to the beauty of the human spirit and the unbreakable bond forged through kindness, resilience, and hope. Clara understood that every story mattered, including hers, and she was ready to write the next chapter with courage, love, and unwavering faith in the journey ahead. As autumn crept gently into Eldervale, Clara found herself amidst swelling leaves that glimmered like gold in the fading sunlight. Every day brought new adventures, but with each passing moment, the weight of her past still lingered like a distant echo. It reminded her that the journey of healing had only just begun. One crisp Saturday morning, Clara stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the collar of her blouse, her heart racing with anticipation. Today, she would attend a workshop at the community college, an opportunity that had filled her with hope and excitement. She could hardly believe that she had taken the first step toward her goal of becoming a social worker. "Hey, Clara, you look amazing." Lily's cheerful voice reached her ears as he bounded into her small room, his teddy bear tucked under his arm. "Thank you, Ali. Are you excited for the art fair today?" she asked, her smile wide and genuine. "Yeah, I can't wait to show everyone my new drawings," he exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I know they'll love them. You have a real talent," Clara replied, brushing a lock of hair behind her ear. "Can I come with you to your school?" Lily asked, biting his lip in anticipation. Clara hesitated for a moment, remembering her own insecurities about the campus. "It's a bit different than the park where we usually play, Ali, but I'd love to see you there afterward." "Okay, I'll show you my drawings then," he declared, his excitement palpable. As Clara headed to the community college, the paths lined with trees shedding their leaves painted a picturesque backdrop. She took a deep breath, recalling the warmth of Amelia's encouragement. "You belong there, Clara, remember that," she had said the night before. The workshop, titled Empowering Change, Your Journey in Social Work, attracted a diverse crowd. Clara's heart raced as she entered the bustling room, filled with hopeful faces like her own. She took a seat in the back, her hands fidgeting in her lap. The instructor, a seasoned social worker named Mr. Thompson, began sharing his experiences, the ups and downs of his career. Social work isn't just a profession, it is a calling. It requires a blend of empathy, resilience, and tenacity. Remember that your own experiences shape your ability to help others, he said, his voice resonating with authority. Clara felt the spark ignite within her with each word he spoke. As he opened the floor for discussion, participants shared their stories of struggle and triumph. Clara listened intently, her heart swelling with the realization that she was not alone. Everyone had faced their own battles. Finally, it was Clara's turn. "My name is Clara, and I've faced homelessness, but have learned that resilience and kindness can create change. I want to help others find their way, just as I was helped," she said, her voice quivering with emotion. A wave of supportive murmurs washed over the room, and Clara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. The shared understanding and compassion she received in that moment were overwhelming. She was not just sharing her story, she was connecting with others who had crossed similar paths. After the workshop, Clara felt a sense of fulfillment. She met Amelia for coffee, her heart still racing from the day's events. "You did beautifully, Clara. I am so proud of you," Amelia exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with admiration. "Thank you. It felt amazing to share my journey, but I am still scared about what comes next. I want to make a difference, but what if I can't?" Clara confessed, her voice barely a whisper. "Doubt is a part of every journey. Embrace it, but don't let it define you. You have so much to offer," Amelia encouraged, placing her hand over Clara's. As they chatted, Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose blossom within her. But the road ahead still held challenges. Balancing her CAF job, school, and her commitment to Leah's art was no easy feat. Some nights, exhaustion washed over her like a heavy blanket, threatening to pull her under. One rainy evening, Clara sat on her bed, exhausted from a long day. The dim light cast shadows across her room, and the weight of her dreams felt heavy on her shoulders. She knew she had to study for an upcoming exam, but her eyelids grew heavier, and she fought against the fatigue. Suddenly her phone buzzed, jolting her out of her reverie. It was a message from Ali. "Clara, I finished my latest drawing. Can I show you?" Clara smiled, her heart warming at the thought of his excitement. "Of course, I'll be right over," she replied, quickly gathering her things. When she arrived at Ali's house, he greeted her with enthusiasm, his little feet pattering against the wooden floor. "Look," he said, holding up a vibrant drawing of a superhero, his smile contagious. "This is incredible, Ali. You've captured so much detail," Clara exclaimed, kneeling to admire his work. "I want to be just like you when I grow up," he declared, his eyes shining with admiration. Clara felt a surge of emotion. "You're already amazing, Ali. Just keep being yourself, and you'll inspire others too." As they spent time together, laughter echoed through the house, replacing the weight of Clara's worries with joy. Ali's pure spirit reminded her of the reason she wanted to pursue social work, to uplift others, just as she had been uplifted. However, the following week, Clara faced a setback that shook her deeply. She received an email from the community college stating that due to unexpected funding cuts, the scholarship she had worked so hard for had been revoked. The news felt like a heavy blow to her spirit. No, Clara muttered under her breath as she stared at the screen, disbelief washing over her. Her dreams felt like they were slipping away, and panic clawed at her heart. Later that evening, Clara met Amelia at the cafe, her face a mask of despair. "Amelia, I lost my scholarship. I don't know what to do," she confessed, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Bo, Clara." Amelia wrapped her arms around her, and Clara felt the warmth of friendship pulling her back from the edge. "This is just a bump in the road. You're not alone in this fight. We'll figure it out together." "Do you really think I can still make this happen?" Clara asked, her voice shaky. "I believe in you. Your story deserves to be told, and your dreams are worth fighting for. Let us brainstorm solutions," Amelia encouraged, her voice steady and reassuring. With Amelia's unwavering support, Clara began exploring options. They researched alternative scholarships, financial aid programs, and even started a crowdfunding campaign to support Clara's education. The community she had grown to love rallied around her, filling her heart with hope. As the weeks passed, Clara found herself surrounded by a network of encouragement. The CAF regulars donated to her campaign, and Ali's mother organized a small art show featuring Ali's work, with proceeds going toward Clara's education. On the day of the art show, Clara stood in the middle of the CAF, her heart swelling with gratitude. The walls adorned with colorful drawings created an atmosphere of joy and excitement. She watched as people admired Ali's talent, their faces lighting up with appreciation. "Look, Clara, we're raising money," Lee exclaimed, holding up a jar filled with small bills and coins. "Yes, and it's all thanks to you," Clara said, her eyes glistening with tears of joy. The event brought together the community in a way Clara had never imagined. Strangers shared their stories, connecting through their struggles and triumphs. Clara spoke passionately about her journey between the art, sharing her dreams and the importance of support. As the evening wound down, Amelia approached Clara, her eyes bright with pride. "You did it, Clara. This is just the beginning. Your community believes in you." Tears brimmed in Clara's eyes. "I can't believe how much love and kindness I have received. It is overwhelming. It has the ripple effect you've created. When you share your light, others can help but shine alongside you," Amelia explained, squeezing Clara's hand. As autumn continued to unfurl its colors, Clara regained hope, her dreams reignited. The crowdfunding campaign flourished, and she was awarded a new scholarship through the community college. She was finally set to continue her education, her heart full of gratitude for the support around her. One evening, as Clara stood by the bench that had once been her refuge, she felt a deep sense of closure. The bench had witnessed her darkest moments, but it was now a symbol of resilience and hope. Lee ran up beside her, clutching a drawing of the two of them standing together, superheroes in their own right. "You're going to be the best social worker ever, Clara," he exclaimed, beaming with pride. Clara knelt beside him, enveloping him in a warm embrace. "And you're going to be a fantastic artist. Thank you for always believing in me, Ali." As they stood together, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over Eldervale. Clara felt the weight of her past transform into a source of strength, a reminder that every challenge she faced had shaped her into the person she was meant to be. In that fleeting moment, Clara understood the beauty of the journey, the struggles, the kindness. As autumn unfurled its vibrant tapestry over Eldervale, Clara Whitmore stood at the edge of the park where her journey had once begun, at a simple bench that had been both her refuge and her reminder of all she had lost. She could still feel the weight of despair that had pressed down on her shoulders just a year before, but now a new sense of purpose filled her heart. "Clara, look," Ali exclaimed, skidding to a stop beside her. The 6-year-old boyish cheeks were flushed with excitement, and he held up a colourful drawing that seemed to burst with energy. "I drew us. We're superheroes." Clara knelt beside him, her heart swelling as she examined the artwork. In the drawing, they were clad in capes, standing tall against a backdrop of swirling clouds and bright, shining stars. "This is incredible, Ali. I love it," she beamed, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Lee's grin widened, revealing a gap where his front tooth used to be. "You be my superhero, Clara. You saved me." "And not just you, my little friend," Clara replied, brushing a lock of hair behind her ear. "We saved each other." With those words, Clara felt the connection between them, a bond formed not just from shared experiences, but from the kindness that had forged their paths. As they walked down the park path, Clara reflected on the whirlwind of changes that had taken place since their first encounter with Ali. Her days were now filled with purpose, thanks to her part-time job at the cafe and the renewed dream of becoming a social worker. Her heart raced at the thought of working alongside others to uplift those in need. "Clara, do you think superheroes can really exist?" Lee asked, his innocent curiosity tugging at her heartstrings. "Of course they can," Clara replied thoughtfully. "They might not wear capes or fly, but they have the power to help others, to show compassion and kindness, like we do." "Then we're superheroes," she declared, punching the air with enthusiasm. "Yes, we are." Clara laughed, the sound ringing clear like a bell. In that moment, she realized that her journey had led her to this very truth, the beauty of human connection and the impact of genuine kindness. However, amid the newfound joy, Clara still faced the obstacles that could feel insurmountable. Balancing her job, her college classes, and mentoring occasionally tugged at the fabric of her energy. Some nights, exhaustion threatened to pull her down like an anchor, and waves of self-doubt would wash over her, reminding her of the darkness she had emerged from. One particularly taxing evening, Clara returned home after a long shift. She sank onto her bed, feeling the weight of the world settle on her shoulders. The dim light filtering through her window only heightened her sense of isolation. She glanced at the framed photos of her family that adorned her modest room and felt a familiar pang of grief. The memories of shared laughter and warmth felt like distant echoes, reminding her of everything that had changed. "What would Dad say?" she whispered, her voice cracking. In that moment of vulnerability, her phone buzzed, a welcome distraction. It was a message from Amelia. "Hey, Clara, let's grab coffee tomorrow. I want to hear all about Elias' art show." Clara smiled through her tears, grateful for Amelia's unwavering support. "Sounds great, I can't wait," she replied. The next day, as Clara sat across from Amelia in their favorite cafe, the scent of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, lifting her spirits slightly. "So, how did the art show go?" Amelia asked, her eyes sparkling with interest. "It was amazing. Elias' drawings sold out, and we raised a lot of money for my education," Clara said, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "But I still worry about balancing everything. What if I can't keep it up?" Amelia leaned in, her expression earnest. "You're redoing more than most people could, Clara. Just remember, it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to show everything alone." Clara nodded, her heart warming at Amelia's words. "You're right. Sometimes I just feel like I am teetering on the edge of a cliff and I might fall." "We all feel that way sometimes," Amelia said gently. "But it's how we rise that defines us. You've already come so far. Don't lose sight of that." With Amelia's encouragement, Clara felt a renewed sense of determination. That evening, as she lay in bed, she made a promise to herself she would embrace her journey, both the struggles and triumphs, and not shy away from asking for help when she needed it. Days turned into weeks, and Clara found herself entrenched in her studies. The coursework was challenging, yet it ignited a passion within her. She spent long nights poring over textbooks and essays, determined to succeed. The community gathered around her as well. The cafe patrons, who had followed her journey since the beginning, often inquired about her classes and offered words of encouragement. Yet, just as Clara felt she was finding her footing, life threw another curveball her way. One Thursday evening, she received an email that sent her heart plummeting. "Due to unforeseen circumstances, we regret to inform you that your scholarship for the upcoming semester has been revoked." "No," Clara gasped, staring at the screen in disbelief. The weight of despair crashed down on her like a tidal wave, threatening to pull her under. Not again. Feeling lost and overwhelmed, Clara rushed to the cafe where she worked, seeking solace in the familiar surroundings. When Amelia arrived, Clara was already seated at the usual booth, her head buried in her hands. "Clara, what is wrong?" Amelia asked, concern flooding her voice. "I lost my scholarship, Amelia. I don't know how I'll continue with school now," Clara said, her voice thick with emotion. Amelia slid into the booth and reached for Clara's hand. "I am so sorry, Clara, but this isn't the end of your journey. We'll figure something out together." Tears streamed down Clara's face as she looked into Amelia's reassuring gaze. "What if I can What if this is where it all falls apart? Then we'll rebuild, piece by piece," Amelia said firmly. "You're not alone in this. Remember the community that rallied for Elias' art show? They believe in you, and I do too." With Amelia's encouragement, Clara took a deep breath and knew she had to explore her options. The next day, they sat at Clara's kitchen table, armed with laptops and determination. Together, they scoured the internet for alternative scholarships and grants, seeking every possible avenue for support. "I found a few local organizations that offer scholarships for individuals facing financial hardship," Amelia said, her voice steady. "We can apply together." Clara nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Amelia. I don't know what I'd do without you." "Just remember, Clara, it is okay to lean on others. You've shown so much strength already. Now allow others to lift you up," Amelia reminded her, squeezing Clara's hand. Over the next few weeks, with Amelia's unwavering support, Clara applied for several scholarships and attended workshops on financial aid opportunities. She learned the importance of advocating for herself and reached out to mentors for advice. The process was daunting, yet with each application submitted, she felt a glimmer of hope ignite within her. One sunny Saturday, as Clara spoke at a local community event, she shared her journey with vulnerability and authenticity. "I've faced hardships, but through kindness and resilience, I found hope. It is important to remember that we are never truly alone on this journey." As she spoke, she noticed heads nodding in understanding and compassion. Her story resonated with those gathered, and she felt a wave of solidarity wash over her. After her speech, people approached her to express their gratitude. "Thank you for sharing your story. It inspired me to keep pushing forward," one woman said, her voice thick with emotion. Clara felt a warmth radiate within her, realizing that her journey was not just about her, it was about connecting with others and igniting hope in their hearts as well. As autumn turned into winter, a sense of determination fueled Clara. She continued to balance her job at the cafe, her studies, and her commitment to Oli. Every moment spent with him became a cherished reminder of the impact they could make together. One day, while they were painting together at the cafe, Ellie looked up at Clara, his eyes wide with admiration. "Clara, you're going to be the best social worker ever," he declared, his voice brimming with confidence. Clara smiled, her heart full. "And you're going to be an amazing artist, Ellie. We'll all make a great team." As the season changed, Clara received an unexpected call that would alter the course of her journey. "Congratulations, Clara, you've been awarded a scholarship from the Eldervale Community Foundation," the voice on the other end exclaimed. "What, really?" Clara gasped, her heart racing. "But how?" "Your application stood out because of your passion for helping others and the resilience you've shown in overcoming challenges," the representative explained. "We believe you have a bright future ahead." Tears of joy streamed down Clara's face as the weight of anxiety lifted. She had fought for her dreams, and now she could continue her education. "Thank you so much." When she